My kiddos up here, please, and young of heart. First, you're going to run an obstacle course of candles, communion table, and then and dog bowls, but we'll collect right over here. Would you come over to this side, please? You're so far away. There's space over here, too. Good morning. Hello. All right. Yeah, pets are welcome, too. That's great. So do you guys have pop quizzes at school? So here we go. Were you paying attention to the Bible reading this morning? So how many days did it take God to make all the animals? Do you remember? Yes.
7.
Well, that's how long it took God to make everything, isn't it? So the earth and the waters and the people. That's awesome. Good job, Patricia. It was 2 days God took to make the animals. How many days did he take to make people?
7.
You'd have figured we're complicated enough that it would take 7, right? But no, he saved us for last, but it only took 1 day. That's how long it took God. So if you think it took God 2 days to make animals and only 1 day to make people, and he made animals first, do you think animals are important? Yes, they are pretty important. And it's really important that we remember when we think about all animals, that animals were really important to God because it took God 2 days and God made them first. That's pretty impressive. So I want to know from you, do you have animals in your life that are important to you? I see you do, Kenneth, of course. Wow. Why don't you tell us your animal's name and what it is?
It's a bearded dragon, and his name is Tad. He's Skelly. He's my pet. Yep. Yep. That he likes to eat vegetables. He loves vegetables.
You had a favorite animal, Delilah?
My cat named Jingles.
And what have you learned anything interesting from Jingles about life?
That he does not like to eat bugs.
And that's probably something you have in common, right? Good. Is there anything that you've learned about life? Any lessons that you've learned from Jingles?
That wherever you go, God is always with you.
Yes, and God is always with the animals too, right? What about you? What's your dog's name?
Ruby.
And what's special about Ruby? What have you learned from Ruby?
How to be lazy.
So I work in public relations, so should we spin that and say how to take rest when you need to, right? I'm not sure your parents would appreciate me validating you learning to be lazy, right? But no, animals are really good at knowing when it's time to rest, aren't they? They do that really well. And Patricia, last but not least.
My cat Cookie.
And what have you learned about any life lessons, anything that they've taught you that you said, oh, I didn't realize that before?
Don't climb trees or you're going to fall off.
So you have to know your limits, right? That's probably a good lesson. Oh, goodness. Well, keep counting. Make sure we don't get to 9, right? So you know how many cats I've had since I was in college? I'm on my 7th cat, 6th and 7th right now. And I've learned something really interesting from them over time. That the nicer I am to them, the better person I am with them, the better they are with me, right? So if I have love in my heart and patience, and I don't try and control them too much, every single cat I've had in all those years, from my perspective, they've gotten better and better. And For a while, I thought it was magic. Why did these cats just keep getting better? And then I realized I've learned to be more loving, more kind, more patient with them. And you know what happens when you practice being loving and kind and patient with your animals? They're going to like you better, and guess what? You're not just practicing on the animals. You're practicing to be more loving and patient and kind for yourself, and more loving and patient and kind for other people. So that's why animals are such amazing teachers, because they give us a chance to practice love so we can get better and better at it. Love's just like ice skating, right? Well, that's a bad example in Arizona, isn't it? Or riding a bike. We got to practice, right?
I don't think I would recommend skating.
So that's my request to you, is that you, with all the animals that you see in the world, whether they're yours or somebody else's, I like to save bees out of my swimming pool when they get stuck. That's practicing love. If there's a bird that's about to fly in front of my car, I hit my brakes hard. That's practicing love for all God's creation. Did you want to share something with us, Patricia?
One time my cat killed a bird while it was flying.
That's sad, but that's the animal kingdom and the way it works, right? But since we're sort of a little bit towards the top of the animal kingdom, and because we're a little bit better at thinking than a lot of animals, it's our responsibility to show them as much love as we can. So practice that as much as you can, loving your animals, and I see you're doing a great job over there already. Thank you, Kenneth. Would you pray with me real quick? So God, you are love, and you try in every way you can to teach us about how to be the most loving people we can be. And one of the best ways you do that is to put animals in our lives that let us practice. So let us pay attention in the next weeks and for the rest of our lives, that every time we have an animal, that we see that as an opportunity that God is giving us to love animals more perfectly, which teaches us to love ourselves more perfectly, to love other people more perfectly, and to love God more perfectly. Amen. And we're going to stick around today because there's so much exciting stuff going on in church that we don't have time for Sunday school. So go take care of your animals, take care of the animals around you, and we're going to have communion in a little while after Pastor Susan's message. Thank you for paying attention.